You should honor your parents. All these things that are in the 10 Commandments. And then off of that, you've got Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy that are giving you all these rules. And if you take it to the nth degree level, all the way to like orthodoxy of, Judaism today, you can only take so many steps on the Sabbath. You can only do so many things on the Sabbath, on Shabbat. This is the backdrop where Jesus comes in and says, in a very Buddhistic way,
that.
Love everybody.
Yeah.
By the way, that thing you heard about, like, eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, which was that Old Testament thing, I know that was like, that's so yesterday. Here he was at the precipice of a change of an aeon, right? Going from what had been 2,000 years of Aries, right, which was about wars and conquering, right? And then 2,000 years before that was a Taurus age. So we're talking about 2,160-year blocks of time across a 12, period precession of equinox, which is 24,000 years. 26,000 on the long cycle, 25,920, and 21,600 on the short cycle. So the closer we are to our sister star, Sirius A, right, and B, we're 8.6 light years from there. Time tends to go faster, right? You've seen how binary stars go like this, and they kind of go through this thing where they speed up. That's where we're now heading into, right? That's exactly the stage we're heading into. So you've got this backdrop of total duality. You've got this backdrop of total eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. Your enemy should die, right? And without even recognizing that it's not really that God is saying that, they think that benefits them. Right? They think it benefits them. And Jesus comes and says, no. Love thy neighbor as thyself.
Yeah, which is the messianic consciousness. Messianic consciousness inherently turns the tables over of systems that are no longer functioning in the right way. And we're once again in the age
the age
of messianic consciousness, where it's time to flip the fucking tables.
Because
the logos of our time is no longer working, and a new operating system needs to be applied. And this is where we are one more time again, and it's a different time with different rules. And it's one of the things that I really appreciate about the deeper lineage of Solomon, that goes kind of underground because of the way that there's and so this actually leads into the ways and things are encoded because of the oppression of the status quo and the systems that be oftentimes religious, but sometimes state-oriented. A lot of the most potent wisdom had to go underground. And that was like a time capsule waiting for a time where it could be actually unearthed and revealed. And so it's hidden in the Aramaic and Hebrew texts. It's hidden in the Song of Songs of Solomon. It's hidden in all of these places. And now, instead of it being carried through these codes, now it's time now we need to decode the codes and flip the tables over and enter a new stage, which requires, again, the messianic consciousness, which comes when one is in contact with their own divinity, so that they can actually listen to what God is speaking through their heart and say, like, no. And all the knowledge and all of that is synthesized, synthesized in the heart. And they can say, okay, now is a time where we get to change the game.
Now is the Aquarian Renaissance.
Yeah.
And what an exciting time to be alive.
Through my crazy travel schedule, I have learned that I want to travel light and effective. And one of the best ways to do that is to travel with all of Onnit's Instant collection. Alpha Brain Instant, New Mood Instant, Hydratech. It's super easy. All you do is you tear off the little strip here, you pour it in water, and you get the instant effects of these formulas that we worked on for a decade. Formulas that I don't want to leave home without, that can help, in the case of Alpha Brain, get you more focused, put you in this productive flow so you can get the shit done that you want to get done. And of course, New Mood to help you relax, stay calm, stay centered. It's the great yin yang of the Onnit formulas. And of course, Hydratech, anytime you're sweating, working out hard. All of these are available. Onnit.com/Aubrey, and you'll save 10%. Once again, that's Onnit.com/Aubrey.
One of my favorite quotes is by Ralph Waldo Emerson, where he says, if there were any one period in time one would desire to be born in, Is it not the age of revolution? When old and new stand side by side and admit of being compared, when the energies of all men are searched by fear and by hope, and when the historic glories of the old can be compensated by the rich possibilities of the new era, this time, like all times, is a very good one, if we but know what to do with it. And I think that's where we are right now.
Absolutely.
We're at this stage where all these systems, if you think about the systems of society that are the self-arbiters of judgment, what are those systems? We have government that basically decides what is lawful and what is unlawful, right? With our court systems, what is allowed and what's not allowed. We have university systems that decide what is truth and what is not truthful, right? What is mistruth. We also have religions that determine what is moral and what is immoral or amoral. These three structures in society have become strictures on society. They all have become self-arbiters that actually diminish individual self-sovereignty on being able to determine those things for themselves. And they don't allow for a more unifying principle of perception that would allow for greater empathy in society also, because it's not in alignment with their narrative, right? Or with the narrative, the official narrative.
This in the social conditioning of culture as well. You know, just like what the Toltecs would call the mitote, the marketplace, this kind of zeitgeist that exists that fosters all of these, you know, social justice things which operate under the principle of doing good, but are actually just spreading the same kind of shame, oppression, hate more often than not. Not that some of them haven't been beneficial and there haven't been good things that come out of it. It's important not to categorize anything, including that, with judgment, because that's once again in the same game that it's in. Everything has its place and purpose. But when you look deeper, you see so many different levels where this has all been operating. And to circle back to where we started, a lot of what I'm seeing, and I think a lot of people are seeing, is the midlife crisis of a dying system in which they're saying, aha, there's problems. You know what'll solve the problems of control, oppression, shame, and judgment?
More
control, oppression, shame, and judgment. I had a Toyota Camry of oppression, shame, judgment, and control. And now if I had a fucking Porsche, central bank digital currency, and massive control, then we're fucking Gucci.
No, I do think that's pretty funny. It's like, wait a minute, when you know the Chinese government just announced yesterday they've got their version of their central bank, you know, digital currency coming out, and it's quantum resistant, and I work in quantum resistant cryptography, right? And I was kind of laughing about that because these central banks who believe that the solution is more central control, and in China, taking it all the way to the perverse level of social credit scoring systems.
Of course.
That then determine what people can buy and what they can't buy and when they can buy it, et cetera, et cetera.
And where they can go. And it's just the process is going to continue.
How dystopian, I mean, can this stuff get, right? And that's kind of where we are right now. But the funny part is what people don't realize is the reason why people adopted cryptocurrency was because of this concept of decentralization. Not more centralization. So to your point, it's like more oppression, control, right? And more shame and judgment. And I think that is what we're all waking up to right now. So we're all talking about this, you know, great split. So yes, obviously we are now on the precipice of a major, probably very likely a meltdown, right? Of what we have considered to be the economy. But let's face it. I mean, when the first COVID package came out, I remember thinking, wait a minute, why are they sending me all kinds of money, right? Why are they sending it to all these people? And this is not, I didn't feel good about it. Something didn't feel right. I was like, this is nuts, because when you start adding it up, we've printed something like $7 trillion, almost $8 trillion. So it's over a third of the world's money supply was printed in the last 2 years. And you're surprised if you had a 30% or 33% dilution of a stock, you shouldn't be